such an asshole.
So if the audience could do me a huge favor, obviously I'm at a new place. If you can let me know, 1, if you can hear me, 0, if you can't, which you wouldn't be able to, if you didn't hear me, you wouldn't be able to type in 0 because some virgin F-wits over in Silicon Valley decided to improve something. So let me go to the comments really quick, pull those up, and I'll read the request and we'll get to it. This was a pain in the ass. This is a pain in the ass. Not because it was complicated, but all the tech I had to do. Just, why isn't it working? Oh, that USB port is dead. Interesting enough question, though. Hey, Claire, return customer here. Please do a video on the city, Salem, Massachusetts. Treat it like you had a son, and he told you he wanted to move there. I'm from Maryville, Tennessee, for reference. Okay. Thanks in advance. We'll keep you anonymous. And so I went and did some research. I had to charge a lot because it took like 2 hours. One, you guys can hear me. Okay, good. Thanks, guys. So I was like, why am I not wanting to do this? And it reminded me, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like work. This is what I used to do when I was younger. Except I do sovereign risk analysis. I'd analyze countries. Now I'm analyzing Salem, Massachusetts. And so I went and pulled up some data and I took some notes. Let me put that away and pull up my notes here. So I kind of approach it. All right, I got a son, and my son, depending on the age, would I generally want to live there? Would I want my son to live there? And link below are 2 links. One for any of you interested in moving to Salem, Massachusetts. This is a website called niche.com. And I guess you just type in a city and it has all these evaluations. It gives like a report card. And so here, Salem has a B+ overall niche grade. And the main category, we click on the full report card. So the subcategories are public schools, crime and safety, housing, nightlife, good for families, diversity. Keep in mind, this was set up by white people. White people set this up like, oh my God, we're so diverse. I'll let you know now, it's whites and Hispanics, and a little bit of black folk live there as well. And if you go to the Essex County, that's the county that Salem is in. I try to look up the politics, and Salem is they just so much care about the minorities and how can we close gaps. I'm like, yeah, I got an idea. Like, everyone majors in STEM and we act Asian. That's how we close gaps. Oh no, the discriminations and the racisms. And Hispanics are doing too good. They consume the disproportionate percentage of government services. Shock. And what else? So, but just keep that in mind. We got this report card. It's like, if you were Hispanic, you want to oh, I hear a bunch of, about a fifth of the population. Yeah, but they're not doing too good. So, and I think the sanctimonious white people to the rescue would really gnaw on, well, I would say certainly my readers and followers happen to be minorities. But I would say minorities in general. White woman to the rescue. Job C+, weather B-, cost of living C, health and fitness B+, A, outdoor activities. I don't believe that unless you're on a boat, and A- commute. So there's that there. Some basic stuff. Population 43,000. Real estate seemed pretty affordable. 380,000 for the median home value, 1,300 for median rent. Although they say national is 1,096. So that may be a little bit out of date. Let's just say it's 30% more. If it was, I have to take that back now. If the nation is 1,100 and this is 1,300, it's more expensive than the nation. I don't think they updated the data, frankly. So I'm wondering if it ain't more like 1,800. So it is more expensive. Straight down the middle, 50-50 own rent. There's a map. Yeah, and then you got houses for sale. It's all like 700,000, 500,000. These are bigger houses, though. So I think that data may be a little out of date. Most diverse suburbs in Massachusetts, 18 out of 196. We just love the minorities. Crime and safety, it's got just over where to go. Property crimes. It's safe. It's about half as dangerous as the rest of the nation. No murders, residents, diverse. This is in terms of age and education. Pretty equal division between college, high school. Median household income 67,000. I think that's a bit low, but you never know. Salem reviews. Where did it go? Was that it? That was it. There's some more information. So in my digging, I did take some notes. And these are all the details that I came up with, the subcategories I was more interested in, some of which was answered on that main page. First, I want to know how beautiful are the people, because like architecture, I don't want to look at ugly crap, including the people. And just to show you intellectual honesty, if you're looking for beautiful people, don't come to Rapid City, South Dakota. Don't go to any rural location. Go to Miami. Go to Vegas. And they're in better shape. I used overweight, percent of the population overweight. The United States, 74% of the adult population is overweight. Salem, it's 63. That's significant. Only 2/3 of the people are fat asses. How about that? You only throw up 2/3 of the time when you go to the Walmart. There is a Walmart. I did look that up. Is there a Walmart in Salem? Or I started getting the feeling, because people from Massachusetts are sanctimonious liberal assholes. I thought, like, oh, is this going to be the quaint little, oh, we have festival days. We're just such a good people. So I wanted to see, okay, what do they look like? I forgot where I was going with that, but but that's what I was going to, like, is it like Home Depot and Walmart and franchises are banned? They're not. Now, maybe downtown they are, but out in the outskirts of Salem, you can get there. And Salem, by the way, is only like 12 or 15 miles from Boston. So you're in the suburbs of Boston. A group of sanctimonious assholes. No one really talks about Boston. You know why? Because it ain't New York. That's why. You just the big city that couldn't. There. Just so you know, by the way, Massachusetts is like the East Coast California. It is a Marxist leftist. It is a crap hole. No one talks about it because there's nothing there. They're really. It's like Connecticut. Like, why would I go there? Do I want to go, like, I don't know, see some hedge fund managers and some insurance companies? That whole New England area is just like, forget it. But that is not the case. They're not that sanctimonious. I think what's the Cape, the little Martha's Vineyard or whatever the hell it is, the Hamptons. That's where, not my backyard. So it doesn't seem to be that way in Salem. You could go to where normal people go. Got that. Voting patterns, heavy Democrat suburb. I went to the city council. A couple people were running unopposed. They were just Democrats. Their mayor got co-ran with whoever ran for Massachusetts governor. Obviously, Democrats got elected, and she is now their lieutenant governor. So that's good. But they just, man, what do you think the first thing was listed about her on her Twitter thing? Was it, I have a degree in engineering and worked really hard and decided after having my family, I should give back to the community with some experience in the field? No, I'm a partial biracial of an immigrant from Trinidad and somebody else. I forgot who. And so, yeah. And what was interesting, though, was on the city of Salem. I even went through the news. The news didn't seem that woke. They weren't all about traits. It almost, I will grant the city of Salem this, on their Twitter feed, it was all business. Like, okay, garbage pickup, went to the website, and, municipal politicians are like low rank freaking nobodies. And well, now she's lieutenant governor, so she's going up in the ranks. But usually they just can't show you how much jizz they jerked off on the mirror as they look to themselves about their leftist credentials. I didn't see any of it. Well, I saw a little bit of it, but not enough where it's like, oh, they're banning bags. They did not ban bags, at least according to the research I looked up. So so far, it doesn't look like this rank San Franciscan, let's cut our genitalia off and sacrifice it to the socialist woke gods. There seems to be a little sanity in there, albeit leaning obviously heavily to the left. So it reminded me of Minnesota a little bit. Like, you're a good person if you vote Democrat. You go through evaluations on discussion boards on Salem. Everyone just assumes that it's good to be a Democrat. Diversity is good. And then they have a strong LGBT community, which is fine. But when you're parading that is where I'm like, oh, okay, it's just assumed Republican bad, Democrat good, and that's the good and moral, noble thing to do in this town. So I smelled Minnesota. I smelled liberal white women saying, this is how we're going to do it, and you don't get pussy if you don't agree with me, hubby. It smelled like that, even though I was never there. People have outright said it's a liberal town, and that's a good thing. Multiple times I mentioned LBGQ. So if my son was gay or not straight, I'm like, well, hey, vibrant community. Crime is definitely below average. Unemployment rate 3.4% versus 3.7% US. Again, I don't know how old that data is, but it looks a little bit lower. And then kind of like, I don't want to see ugly people. I don't want to see ugly buildings. So I did a couple webcams and looked at downtown Salem. Very pretty, very quaint. Not only the downtown, but then also it's on the ocean. And so the marina looked nice, a lot of boats. I didn't look at everything. I'm sure if you get out of the city, you're going to have your strip malls and, where Mr. Movies used to be, and some 70s, 80s horrible, bland architecture. I'm sure some moron, some leftist, talentless hack became an architect and designed an ugly, atrocious, boring-looking building. I'm sure there's that boomer architect on daddy's money influence there. But downtown is, it's what you'd expect, colonial type of town, like brick building, cobblestone streets, very quaint and nice. So the architecture was pretty. Here's an example. The city council of the department's typically leftist, not overly, just typically. So there's like a thing where they mention how we passed an ordinance or law or whatever that no city resources would go into legal fights where they would eliminate or go against someone's right to an abortion. A little virtue signaling. It might be a sanctuary city. I don't know. Maybe, probably. But, the town is 50,000. It's a suburb of Boston. And it's in Massachusetts. Like, you're in the mid-level of hell. The devil visits 3 times a week. It might be hot. It's not the deepest darks of hell. Satan doesn't sleep there, but he makes regular appearances. Taxes. Property taxes are more than twice that of the U.S. average, 4,000 versus 1,600 U.S. This was interesting. This would be the one. This is probably the one that stands out the most. They had a vaccine mandate to enter businesses. This wasn't an option. Like the mask, there was a mask, but that was state. But it was relieved in February of 2022 due to the one that made everyone immune to it, Omicron. And so then they lifted that ban. And the problem with all these municipalities and government agencies is they don't want to seem like they're tyrants. And so you had to really look for it and read for it. Well, do you have a ban or not? Just tell us what it is. And they can't do it because they don't want to seem like tyrants. They said for some businesses, what those businesses were, I don't know. It wasn't obvious to me. They certainly didn't make it obvious for the citizens of Salem to figure out, well, do I have to? So I'm just going to say it was all businesses. Prove me wrong otherwise. So if you had to have a vaccine, that's the most woke stuff or tyrannical stuff where I'd be like, I don't know, son. But you could just hop in your car and leave and go somewhere else to another leftist crap hole in Boston or Massachusetts. Oh, by the way, I would not advise if you're a young lady dating Democrat people in Boston or Massachusetts. You tend to drown. What else? One thing, the county, you could look at the county. County's woke as crap. There's a link there. ImpactEssexCounty.org. and they go through it. Actually impressed. The data they had there was very, very well organized, very well put together. So the economist or whoever you had doing your data did a great job. But obviously, there's an entire thing about diversity because, oh my God, that's the most important thing: the color of people's skin and not their content of character. So there's that, and you could just look at it like, oh yeah, for such good white people. I got a question for all the liberal white people out there. Do you all have mirrors when you jerk off to yourself, or are you just fantasizing about yourself? I'm just wondering, like, do you need to see your reflection about what a good person you are? Like, I just wonder if you needed a mirror. That's all. Traffic is bad. They do not recommend the traffic, in part because it's old, 1600 roads. If you look at it, it looks more like a European town where there was no grid or structure or all that. That is alleviated a little bit. There is public transport to downtown Boston. So you go and hang out with all the people there. I don't know. Do they crap into the streets there? Are you just too good because you're East Coasters? Like, oh, those are West Coast Democrats. We have the Kennedys. We don't poop in our streets. We're better than that. Just wondering. So you can take the subway or their light rail or whatever they got. And then more modernly, if your remote work location, I don't think that would be a big effect for you. And guys are gonna be surprised about my ruling. Weather. I only cared about how cold it got, but again, I don't know if maybe my son might like weather. Cold weather. I don't know. Again, my son might be gay. My son might like winter sports. I'm like, I have no son. It wouldn't be because he's gay. It's like, what do you mean you like winter? What's wrong with you? So me personally, I'm like, no cold. Average high in January is 37, average low is 21. We talked about housing affordability. Then the poverty rate, and here again for our Hispanic audience members, okay, there's 20%. I mean, you'll find. Well, okay, let me pause here for a second. There's an increased chance you'll find your culture, but you're just Hispanic. That's a lot of different cultures. I know the white people in Essex County probably don't think, well, you're just brown. You'll just get along with all the other brown people. It's like, not depending on the outcome of a soccer match between Guatemala and Honduras. It depends. But they're all the same. Liberal white women. So I think that boosted the poverty rate. The poverty rate in I want to say maybe this is Essex County, but it could be Salem. 15.5% versus 11.6%. So there's a little bit of a poor class there. So those are my datas and my observations and my points. Now, what I would recommend to my son or daughter or whoever, anyone in particular, would I recommend moving there? Would I recommend? That actually isn't the worst place to consider. And the reason why is as long as you don't buy property or hang your hat there, it depends on the environment and the situation. Let's say you got a great job offer, north side of Boston or in Salem itself. It's got a walkable town. I really enjoy nice architecture. It look pretty. It's for the city. It's for the environment. If you're a younger person, you're just going to run into leftists and Marxists anyways. And I got news for you. Just because it got an R and L, libertarian in front of the name, doesn't mean they're cool people. It really doesn't. Past 4 or 5 years has taught me that. Most of the conservatives, libertarians, Republican types I run into, like, okay, you're politically correct. They're aligned, or, you got the right economic philosophy. But most people, heck, I will tell you, most people I ran into are Republicans are just as douchey and moronic and stupid and lifeless as Democrats. And I've met some really nice, sweet Democrat people. They're just not right. They just don't know economics. They're ignorant and idealistic. So if I was younger and not buying property, not investing in the community, and I got a good job offer, yeah. I mean, what if you really like boating? What if you I don't know, you like the color of fall. You just you're kind of quiet and reserved. You want to walk to a local community. You want to be in a nice cafe. You don't want to be disturbed. It's safe. It seems like a very nice community. And that's based on the things that kind of more mad in terms of environment, safety, the affordability, the downtown area. Can you go out to the burbs of Salem and get a drill or a screw? It just seems like you want to go on the beach. It looks like a nice town to live in for a while, to experience and enjoy it. I would definitely keep an eye on what kind of tyrannical dictatorial stuff the city council or the county throws down at you. Hang on, let me see. It is Massachusetts. Hang on. I want to see if they got a bag ban. Past the plastic ban restricts the usage of single-use Oh, okay. So here, wait, Massachusetts, 2018. Passed the plastic bag ordinance that restricts the use of single-use by all retail and food establishments in the city of Salem. With this action, Salem joins over. Yeah, okay. So that, oh man, that's really leftist. That's the stuff you gotta look out for. Yeah, I'd be kind of like, yeah, go there if you got a really good job offer, enjoy the downtown, live outside, do your shopping outside. Whatever the suburbs, wherever it ends. But that, like I said, living there when you're a young single man or woman for a job opportunity to enjoy summers, to enjoy the downtown, to enjoy the lakefront or ocean front, I would do it a little bit. Hell no, don't live there. Hell no, you don't buy property. You don't invest there. Absolutely not. And it has nothing to do with any of the ancillary stuff. It's just that is not a place to invest. You're in Massachusetts. Your real estate taxes are high in Salem. Your income taxes are higher in Massachusetts. That is not a place, oh, we're such liberal, good people. It's like, yeah, it's not my community. It just isn't. It really is not. And oh, did you ban bags and you mandated people get vaccines? Like, now it's becoming impossible to live here. And here's the real concern all of you got to worry about. And you could just look at San Francisco or any kind of major metro in California. Like, where does it end? Where does it stop? Where do the liberal white women realize and say, okay, we've oppressed everyone enough with these anal retentive things so we can feel good about ourselves? It doesn't stop. It'll never stop. And so it is really only a temporary place that you could enjoy a summer, a year, or maybe a couple years, depending on how much you're making. But like everything else, like the White Bear Lake was very similar to that. It was a nice, quaint downtown area. And after a while, Minnesota politics got to me and the local politics were getting to me. I'm like, yep, done. This is not a place to live in anymore. Like, invest to anchor and put roots. The soil is getting salty. And then you leave. So in part because Massachusetts, you don't live in Massachusetts. But also it got to sound like one of these perfect little quaint leftist havens where the religion is being a good Democrat. That's what good people are. Good people here. We're good people. You go back far enough, you're like, well, they're a good Christian. Christian was the thing. Now the latest tyrannical club you got to join or else is the Democrat Party. And I would guess, I'm going to guess, the people here in this community are so freaking milky toast, so basic bitch, so boring. Like, we just got to help the little people. Just not, but that could be said about most of America, but it would just, I don't know if you'd find any intellectuals there, like genuine people that you could talk and have a good conversation with. I think you're just going to run into your rank and file, good little Democrats. Nothing's going to be interesting. And yeah, be okay for a year or two, but then you're like, time to move on. And that's where you just, it's Minnesota on the ocean. We do. Okay, everybody, we, the Council of Liberal White Women, have decided, Salem witch trials, we have decided that cars are bad and we can't have you driving cars, okay? And all the Democrat men, all right, yeah, okay. It just, yeah. So I don't know, maybe live on the outskirts. That bag thing threw me. I should have thought of that before. That bag thing. But here's what I really tell my son. I say, spend a summer there. No, spend one, or not even a summer. Spend 2 weeks in the summer and 2 weeks in winter. See if you like it. And I'd recommend that for any place. But Salem, yeah, nice place to visit, nice place to stay for a year or two. Check it out. Don't live in the downtown area. And then if you find a nice girl or a guy, you go and want to start a family, you don't buy property there. You get the hell. And that was another thing. You looked at the labor force, what was happening. They looked at labor force, how many people left and how many people came in. They're losing workers. People are leaving Salem, or workers are anyway, but that makes Democrats happy. You don't work? Ooh, that's hot. So there you go. All right. Let's go through the super chats if we got any. Darn it. Yeah, that bag thing through. I was like, oh, no. Loud and clear. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hat and clogs. $2. Look, she can read and do math. She's a witch. Was that it? I don't know anything about it. I thought I watched there was a play where sit down, everyone. I think the young girls realized they were getting attention in the village when they acted like they were possessed, and it didn't end up well for them. I don't think it ended up well. Like they got it. I could be wrong, but somebody, not me, who's more historically educated. But the play, if I recall correctly, was these girls would claim a crime against them, or they could see or they were possessed, and everyone kept giving them attention. And then I think they just ended up getting killed. Wow. Liam, $100. Thanks, man. Do one on Springfield, Massachusetts, laughing out loud, most dangerous city in the state. Well, thanks for the $100, but I'm not kidding, Liam. This kid paid $300 because it took 2 hours for me to do the research. So I appreciate the $100, but it isn't just like $100 that I do it. I got to spend time putting it together, setting up this ridiculous, although that I'd have to do anyway. Yes, if you want $200 more, I can analyze a town. Or if you don't want to have Springfield, if you don't want to spend the extra $200, I don't know. You got any other questions you want answered? Hat clogs, $2. The robot dog overlords demand the Ivy the dog. Ivy the dog is sick, and I feel horrible because she is really sick, and she's very weak, and I'm optimistic it's not like cancer or anything. They just think she injured herself and she's all right, but the medicine she's on makes her throw up, and she saw me and kind of slowly walked toward me and wagging her tail and just buried her head kind of in the nook of my arm. And I gave her a hug, and yeah, she is very weak. So I wanted to show Ivy the dog, but she doesn't even have the energy to kind of jump up. So we're going to pamper Ivy the dog. Wholesome DJ Aftershock, $5. For some reason, Massachusetts is always rated in the top 5 states for quality. By who? These are the same idiots that rank like Norway and Sweden, where it's always cold and it's permanent darkness for 6 months a year. It's really great. Like, no, snowy countries are not really great. They really aren't. Do you think the state government is paying people off for those ratings? I don't know if people are paying them off. I think there's a political motivation. Like the UN wants to prove, who do those best places to live. They just want to prove that socialism is great, which you can't prove because socialism is not great. It doesn't work. And if it does work, everyone is very mediocre. Again, Nordic countries. Oh, wow. You're all rebellious. How unique are you? You too eat lutefisk and hate yourself. Wow, that's so unique a position for being a Swede. No, I think they politically have that motivation. Like Minneapolis and your Midwest towns are always like this was like 10, 15, 20 years ago. And it's like, yeah, okay, now you got riots. Are you still Minneapolis, just the greatest, splendiferous place to live. But no, I do not believe him because who is it? And I want to see the evaluation. I want to see your methodology. I would go with very simple things: crime, cost, unemployment. I mean, some of those things on the report card are good. I don't give a crap who's living next to me. I really don't. I don't care. I would care more about obesity and architecture because those are beautiful things. And then there's me, but then there's other people. I mean, are there mountains nearby? Can I ride my motorcycle? Economics, like, and forget Republican, Democrat, what percent of my money do I get to keep? Very little, F you. But we got plastic bag bans. Good for you, Karen. Wonderful. No, I don't want to live near liberal white women. I don't want to live. I just don't. But yeah, the obesity and crime and all that. That's right. Liam, again, for $2, what do you think of New Hampshire? I've never been there. I know a lot of people like the libertarian movement and all that. I mean, out of all the places in New England, I'd go there. No state income taxes. People say it's pretty with the leaves and the mountains, but I don't. I just have the only reason, literally the only reason I have to go there now is to hang out with Kevin Savo in Connecticut. And it'd be like, all right, let's do this filming thing. And I'm getting the hell out of this really crappy area of the country. I don't know why Savo don't move. Well, I do know he's got family there. He does. He's rich in that regard. He does have some good friends and some buddies all willing to work and help him out. Liam, live free or die. Correct. Brian Dupree, $5. Grew up in Massachusetts, moved back after 12 years away. It's not so bad, but nothing majorly redeeming. Tradesman pay is great here for cost of living. Only reason I stay. Yeah, but are you in Boston proper? Are you out more west or where? I mean, I believe you, but I just no plastic bag ban, none. What are the gun rights like? I mean, what? I'm sure you can't carry a gun in Boston because all men are pussies over there. And women don't want to be protected. Liam, $5 again at Aaron Clary, Holyoke, Massachusetts. Holyoke. What about Holyoke? I don't know anything about Holyoke. Scrolling. I think we're caught up. Thanks a lot, Liam. Do email me, Liam. I unless you were like intending to donate $100 anyway. But yeah, if you had a more substantial question. That's it. All right. I'll see you guys later. More on the way, Toodles.